there are messages all around us. And some of them come in the form of chaos. And sometimes that chaos is overt and sometimes it's covert. Sometimes we can know right away what that chaos is telling us. And sometimes we just start learning things that, like, wow, that's a chaos that's affecting all of us. Is there a siren going off? We should all know. I just learned about a month ago something I thought I kind of knew about it, but didn't realize it was so prevalent. There is a plague that has a physical message and it's knocking on the door. And are we listening or do we not want to hear? That's today I want to share. A couple months ago, I started having just a little pain right here on my upper right abdomen. And I knew that was where the liver was. And I thought, my liver has a message for me. What is it saying? And so I went into kind of, well, what could it be? And then I went into like, well, what could I do to detox it, just in case that has something to do it? What it did, it led me to start listening and reading and becoming very involved with what's going on with the liver. And what I didn't realize is that we have something that we have brought into our culture that is symbolic of what America is all about. But yet, are we paying attention to what it's doing to us? The plague that is plaguing not only children, but teenagers and adults. What am I talking about? Fatty liver disease. And I'm talking about non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. We already know that alcohol is disastrous on a liver. But did you know that there's something we're bringing into our lives that we consume that not only is affecting our liver, but, and this is where my forte is, and this is what I love, is affecting the brain. Now, anything that's affecting the brain, you know, is affecting our mental health. So when we start talking about these mental health issues that we have, and we start medicating and we're trying to do all this therapy, are we looking maybe in an area that we need to focus on? And that's going back to the gut and what we're ingesting, what we are eating. What am I talking about? I'm talking about some things that we are doing that are overloading our liver to the point like it's like, I throw up my hands. And I'm going to start giving you some messages. The thing about the liver, it works so hard by itself. I just had a compressor go out on a refrigerator, and the refrigerator is still working. It was still working. But when you opened up these refrigerator drawers, it was like 57 degrees in there. I don't know about you guys, but have you ever had almond milk at 57 degrees? It's not that good. Not as good as if it was 37 degrees, right? So even though it was working, my refrigerator was working, it was not cooling it to where it needed to be. Well, the liver gets that way too. It gets so clogged that it can't do everything. It's like, I'm working hard, but really what you need me to do, and that is to detoxify your body and to regulate your hormones and all these other things that I'm trying to do for you. I can't do it. I can't do it all. And the reason is you were feeding me things that just are not meant to be processed through a liver. I mean, we have plastics and metals and different things. Our liver's having to try to take care of, but there are some things that we are intentionally putting into our bodies, drinking and consuming, that has overtaxed our livers. And now more than ever, we have teenagers that are getting liver transplants. In fact, the liver transplants from this fatty liver disease, non-alcoholic, has now risen to 26% of all the liver transplants that happen. Okay, that's what we're talking about, the fatty liver disease. And I just thought, well, that just has to do with alcoholism, right? No, it has to do with every single one of us and what we are doing to our poor liver. Now, think about this for a minute. If you have a car and it has a car filter and it's supposed to filter the oil, etc., and it has all this stuff in it and it just can't do it, what happens to the vehicle after a while? Probably takes the car down. Well, with the liver, it works hard for a long time before big symptoms even show up. So all of us could be walking around with a certain amount of liver damage right now because of certain things that we are eating. One of them is processed foods. And that's a no-brainer, right? We know those things. But another one is sugar. And what's the food that has the highest content of sugar that we as a culture just hold it up as an emblem of who we are? Soda pop. If you're a soda pop drinker, please pay attention to this because there's a message out there, and that message is coming from your liver. Also, fructose, corn syrup fructose, is the one that the liver can't figure out how to process it, and it creates visceral fat around our organs. Now, you don't have to be obese for this to be affecting you. You can be super skinny and you can have severe liver damage. To me, that was shocking. Do we not understand that something that we brought in as a convenience thing, as a way of life, is now trying to take down our body, our organs, making it so difficult for us? And it's affecting our brains, it's affecting our mental health, it's affecting our ability and our capabilities to problem solve, to be coherent, to have the energy levels that we need. I guess what I'm saying is there's a modern day plague with a physical message, and that's beware of the processed foods, the carbohydrates that are man-made, the sugars, and the corn syrups. And if we can eliminate those and start giving it the natural carbs, the carbs that Mother Nature made, our body can start to heal before we get into a place where we have to have a liver transplant. Now, that may sound exaggerated, but it's not. They're up to 26% of the liver transplants that now happen are the non-alcoholic fatty liver. In a way, we've taken the things of Mother Nature and we are feeding our bodies the counterfeit of all of that. So what should we be eating? Well, again, we should be eating the Mother Nature carbohydrates, the potatoes, the vegetables, the fruits. And there are those vegetables that are probably better than others. The cruciferous, like broccoli, collards, green kale, daikon radishes, cilantro, parsley, arugula, garlic, and onion. Those are really good for the body and they aid the liver. There's herbs like milk thistle and dandelion greens and curcumin and rosemary that are anti-inflammatory. But there's another thing that we can do. We can actually aid our body in getting rid of some of the toxic fats in our body. And that's by doing intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting, for those that are unfamiliar with it, it's just going a certain amount of the day without eating, giving our body a rest, that liver a rest from having to, oh my gosh, you just gave me the toxins. You just gave me the toxins from that processed food and the oils that my body can't handle. What are the good oils anyway? Best oils and fats come from avocados, from olive oil, macadamia nut oil, the omega-3 fats. Those are the ones the body thrives on. But the liver is saying, you give me all these things and you want me to process fat, but you also want me to process the toxin. I can't do it all. So I'm just going to store everything in fat cells on your body. And good luck with having your organs function properly the rest of your life. Hey, did any of you know this? And I didn't. I felt like I was in the world, and I'm not a pop drinker. But I have family members that are. And there's lots of teens, thin teens you see that have like a little muffin top. A lot of that has to do with being a soda drinker. But there are a lot that don't have that, look really lean. But yet what they're eating is creating an internal thing that affects the body. So if you're having any of these symptoms, if you're having abdominal pain in the upper right side of your abdomen, if you're having muscle weakness, as the liver shuts down, all the toxins are in the body that it hasn't been able to filter out and affects our muscles. If you have a loss of appetite, if you have nausea, if you're losing weight and can't gain it, or you can't lose weight, if you've got yellowing in your skin or like yellow in the inner part of your eye, if you've got fatigue or mental confusion, those are early signs of fatty liver disease. So that's a sure sign. That is a message to take action. Talks about exercise. Studies show that you need at least 2.5 hours of exercise a week. That's not a lot. That's very moderate. Eliminating alcohol, sugar, especially corn syrup. And when you look at what corn syrup is in, it's in everything. It's in barbecue sauce, it's in ketchups, it's in dressings, it's in sauces, it's in so many recipes or even foods that you purchase in a restaurant. Get rid of the bad oils of fried food. So if you're a soda drinker, what could you do to substitute? Now, I will say 25 years ago, I let go of soda completely, but I had to do it incrementally. But what I did too is there are these packets of powder that are high doses of vitamin C. And I started utilizing those. What it was doing, it was giving me a little bit of energy when I was in a lull. I drink a vitamin C drink to be able to keep me going as my body weaned off of that caffeine and the energy boost that I thought I was getting from that. Honestly, I don't even want one. But there's so many other things that I go after or want that have sugar or corn syrup in them. So we all have a poison, right? We all have something that we are attracted to, but we have to stop and think, wait, this truly is a silent killer, because the symptoms of fatty liver are so subtle that we may not even know they are there. Well, I decided I was going to be proactive. What do I do? Well, I am reading labels now like there is no tomorrow. I am cutting out processed foods. I'm doing a better job of eating whole foods. And I've done that for a while. And I've added a couple things that I think my liver could love. Want to know what they are? Let me show you. So the best thing we can do right now is just detox our liver. And there's lots of ways you can do, but here's a detox drink that I made from the medical medium. I took that recipe and then I kind of tweaked it a little bit for some of the things that I absolutely love. But right away, here's blueberries. I've put in like a third cup of white vinegar with 2 cups of water, soaked the blueberries in it, and I soak them for maybe about 5 minutes. What that does do, it gets the rest of the dirt off, it gets any mold, any bacteria, can kill that. It also helps get pesticides off, even though I try to get organic. Then after I've had a chance to have those dry, then I mince up ginger. It calls for a tablespoon, 2 cups of blueberry, a tablespoon of ginger, but I love ginger, so I put even more. Then cilantro, I think that's cleansing. 2 tablespoons of dragon fruit powder. You can just get that on the internet. A frozen banana. I like to put ice in it, a little bit of water. In the blender, blend that up. And I also put frozen pineapple in it. Oh, it's so delicious. And there you have it. Check out that amazing detoxifying drink with the dragon fruit. And of course, other ways for us to detoxify is just drink really clean, amazing water. Hydrogen water is really good for our liver, but also doing the intermittent fasting and going extended periods without eating so our liver doesn't have to be taxed. And then if we go for extended periods like 24-hour, then we start getting to the point where we are accessing the fat that's been around our organs and in our body for a long time. And again, when the liver doesn't know what to do with something, it stores it in fat. So we have chemicals and toxins. Have you ever done a detox before? When you do a detox, a lot of times you end up with rashes and different things. And what it is doing, it's getting it out of your body. It's time for us to really think, okay, there's chaos in my life. What have I created chaos-wise in my body because of the amazing, convenient things that we have set up as a standard of living or a standard of eating in our culture, but are literally trying to take us down, especially with little kids. With my kids, I know they would rather eat out as the processed foods that they have the palate for. It's time for us to start bringing back in the natural foods. This week, I invite you, if you are drinking pop, think seriously about how you can get rid of that. Go off of it. If you are eating sugars and corn syrups, find the alternatives. Take it to honey, take it to agave. Start sweetening with maybe fruit. Do those things that are going to turn us more back to Mother Nature. If you're eating processed foods, think of ways to do things baked with good fats instead of fried things. Stay tuned because there are messages all around us. This week it was about the body. What is your body telling you? What are the messages that it's waiting for you to decode? Okay, see you next week. I have another one I want to discuss with you. Can't wait to meet with you. Tally ho, my friends.